My husband and I were on our honeymoon at Seabrook Bay Beach Resort when I caught him applying sunscreen on his so-called tomboy best friend with a little too much familiarity. So you did get a boob job.
Huh.
They look pretty upgraded. His hand lingered on the small of her back. I kept a straight face, even as the cup in my hand buckled under my grip. My husband, Luke, wasn't pleased.
He scowled at me.
Can't you lighten up?
We've always messed around like this.
Why do you have to overthink everything? His tomboy best friend, Chloe Miller, shot me a provocative look. Don't be mad, Lillian. Luke and I grew up together in the same diaper. We've seen each other in every state possible. We're just close friends. It's a shame I was born a girl, honestly. If I could choose, I'd turn into a guy in a heartbeat to avoid all these misunderstandings. Luke shook his head at me, his arms still around her waist. I really wish you could be more understanding. Don't ruin our brotherhood. What they didn't know was that I used to be a dimension hopper. After completing my last mission, the Wish Protocol promised to grant me one desire. Since these two were so desperate to be close friends, why not help Chloe's wish come true? I wished to fulfill Chloe Miller's desire, to make her a real man. The Wish Protocol replied instantly. This wish involves physiological restructuring. The gender transition will require 7 days to complete. So, in 7 days, Chloe would become a man. I had to fight hard to keep from laughing right then and there. Completely oblivious, Chloe slung an arm around Luke's neck, pulling him close against her chest with a hearty laugh. Cole's barbecue must be almost ready. Come on, move it. Your old man is starving here. Luke clicked his tongue in mock annoyance, but obediently lowered his head, letting her manhandle him. Even after witnessing this countless times, a familiar sting still pricked behind my eyes. As dusk settled over the beach, everyone settled in a circle. As I moved to join them, Chloe swiftly claimed the spot right next to Luke. Oops, I hope Lillian doesn't mind me sitting here, she chirped. Before I could speak, Luke jumped to her defense. It's just a seat, Lillian. Don't be petty. My face blank, I took a random seat. Luke's expression darkened briefly before Chloe's incessant chatter recaptured his attention. When the grilled food arrived, Luke grabbed a skewer of grilled shrimp and offered it to me first.
Your
favorite seafood. Don't be mad anymore. I was taken aback, but I accepted it anyway. Chloe immediately feigned outrage, yanking Luke's ear. You traitor! Ditching your best bud for a pretty girl? Can't you see I'm starving too? Luke played along, howling in exaggerated pain, and hastily presented her with a plate of chicken wings. The whole group burst into laughter at the ridiculous scene. I pressed my lips together, staring at the shrimp in my hand. It wasn't until Cole, sitting beside me, asked if I wanted to trade my shrimp for his grilled calamari that a flicker of emotion stirred in my eyes. A near stranger had noticed I didn't like shrimp. Yet Luke, whom I'd been with for 4 years, hadn't. All those years of love suddenly seemed insignificant. Later, bored, the group decided to play Never Have I Ever. Several tame rounds about work and daily life passed. When it was Chloe's turn, a sly grin spread across her face as her gaze locked with mine, unflinching. I've seen the video of Luke and Lillian in bed. A stunned silence crashed over the lively gathering. Everything inside my head just short-circuited. I stared at Luke, disbelief freezing me in place. He only chuckled helplessly and swatted her backside. Why bring that up now? Cole quickly tried to smooth things over. Oh, you mean that video of Luke drying Lillian's hair in bed? We've all seen that. Drink up. It wasn't that. Chloe stood up, swaying her beer bottle suggestively. Luke was way more impressive than that. Lillian sure made a lot more noise. You guys just didn't see it. Luke shoved a skewer of meat into her mouth. Shut up. We agreed to keep that private. Why are you spilling it now? Chloe pouted. So what? That's how the game's supposed to be played. It's way more fun this way. Besides, Lillian's super chill. She definitely won't mind, she added with a smirk. And anyway, I've seen even juicier stuff. If you try to stop me, I'm spilling everything. A high high-pitched ringing filled my ears, my mind utterly blank. The next thing I knew, the beer bottle in my hand was arcing through the air, aimed directly at Chloe's head. The bottle shattered against Luke's back, glass spraying everywhere. At the critical moment, he'd thrown himself in front of Chloe without hesitation. My vision blurred, but he didn't notice. Instead, he glared at me, furious. "Lillian, can you stop acting like a spoiled princess for once? I was nice enough to introduce you to my friends, and you can't even take a joke? You're such a buzzkill. If we weren't already legally married, I'd call the cops on you right now. A few days in lockup might do some good." Chloe rose, the picture of a victor. "Son's coming with Dad. Let's leave the sensitive little girl to sulk."
So
Annoying. Luke shot me a look that said, "You brought this on yourself," and followed her. The sea breeze was chilly, but my heart was colder. His other friends exchanged uneasy glances, mumbled excuses, and drifted away one by one. I was left alone on the beach, staring at the horizon. For 4 years, I believed Luke was the perfect partner. He remembered every anniversary, crafting gifts by hand. Every Friday, a bouquet arrived at my office, earning me the envy of my colleagues. He'd drive me to any restaurant I casually mentioned the day before. Our parents had met and approved. We'd gotten our marriage license early, and our wedding ceremony was next month. But all that goodness turned weightless the moment his tomboy best friend Chloe was involved. When Chloe returned from abroad, he sneaked out late at night to pick her up without telling me. The lunchbox he prepared for me daily? He made one for her too. Upon closer inspection, hers was always more lavish. On a rainy day, he claimed he was too busy to get me. But I spotted him with his arm around Chloe's shoulders, heading into an arcade for an afternoon of fun, while I waited across a flooded street. Every time I got upset, he'd dismiss it with, "I see her as one of the guys. How could anything happen?" Or, "We're just close friends."
don't make it dirty.
If they were so determined to be close friends, then once Chloe truly became a man, their bond should only
Grow stronger, right?
A low, humorless laugh escaped me. Suddenly, a roll of bandages appeared in my line of sight. "Your hand is injured. You should wrap it." I looked down. My right hand was bleeding from a cut by the broken glass. Seeing me frozen, Cole simply took my hand and began bandaging it with careful precision. I thanked him. He didn't leave, just picked up a beer bottle and took a swig. We sat like that all night, until the skyline bled into the most breathtaking sunrise I'd ever seen. I took a photo and posted it to my Instagram story with a caption, "Starting over." We took an Uber back to the Seabrook Grand Hotel, only to run into Luke stumbling out of Chloe's room, his hair a mess. Seeing me, his face paled. He opened his mouth to explain, but Chloe popped out from behind him right on
cue.
One night had passed, just as the wish protocol said. The changes were already evident. The fine hair on Chloe's upper lip had darkened and thickened, and the hair on her arms was coarser. She remained oblivious, clinging to Luke's arm with familiar ease. "Lillian, Luke is a beast in bed. You're in for a treat. Stop talking nonsense." Luke shook off her grip and hurried to my side. "Lillian, don't misunderstand. We just played video games all night." I lower my gaze, clearly catching the unconscious way he scratched at his pants, a dead giveaway, a habit he could never shake when he lied. But now, an unexpected calm settled over me. In a few days, he would surely come to deeply regret last night's events. I turned and swiped my keycard. Luke quickly sidestepped me and slipped into the room first. "You were way too impulsive yesterday." But I wasn't entirely in the right either. "Let's call it even and drop this, okay? Don't be mad anymore." I gave a noncommittal nod. Seeing this, he finally smiled. "Isn't there that Skyline Ferris wheel nearby? You kept talking about it before. Let's go this afternoon." I was taken aback. Before the trip, I'd seen posts claiming that if a couple kissed at the very top of a Ferris wheel, they'd stay together forever. I'd pestered him about it, and he'd called me childish. Now he was suggesting it himself. Just then, Chloe's voice chirped from the hallway. Hey, son. Come help your dad pick an outfit. Gotta get some killer shots at the Ferris wheel this afternoon. She barged in without knocking, twirling in a dress before us. So that was it. Understanding dawned immediately. Luke's eyes noticeably lit up. Whoa, you're always such a tomboy. Never thought you could actually pull off a dress. Kinda hot. Chloe punched his arm.
Duh.
Your dad just doesn't bother dressing up. If I put in a little effort, I'd have a line of suitors. Watching them, my voice turned cold. I'm not feeling well. I won't be going this afternoon. Chloe instantly rolled her eyes. So boring. Luke, however, looked visibly relieved. He just told me to get some rest and I stayed in bed all afternoon. When I woke up, my WhatsApp chat with my best friend, Sophia Parker, showed 99 plus unread messages. Scrolling to the first one, I found a screenshot from a video. The Ferris wheel cabin was at its peak, a man and a woman locked in a kiss. The caption read, "Seeing the whole city from the top in that moment, it felt like the whole world was just the two of us." The two profiles were painfully familiar. The remaining 98 messages were all 60-second voice notes. Opening one unleashed Sophia's furious roar. "That bastard Luke is cheating. Don't you dare stop me. I'm gonna scratch that scumbag and his side pieces' eyes out." It wasn't until I explained about the Wish Protocol's promise that she finally burst into satisfied laughter. At dinner the next day, Luke was clearly watching my reactions. Only when he saw my calm demeanor did he seem to relax. During the meal, Chloe was her usual clingy, playful self with him. But suddenly, she gagged, clapped a hand over her mouth, and bolted for the restroom. As everyone stared, Luke hurriedly got up, muttering about needing the bathroom too. Watching them disappear around the corner one after the other, I picked up my plate and casually moved to a serving station near the stairwell. Chloe's voice, tinged with panic, floated out. My period is days late. Could I really be pregnant? I told you to wear a condom. What do we do now? You have to take responsibility." After a pause, Luke's low, placating voice followed. "Don't worry. I'll handle it." I had to bite my lower lip hard to stop myself from laughing aloud. The nausea from the ongoing physical changes of her transition had made Chloe think she was pregnant. Doing the math, only 3 days left until her transformation was complete. The anticipation for that day was becoming almost unbearable. Over the following days, Chloe's masculine traits became impossible to ignore. Her skin grew noticeably coarser, her face perpetually shiny with oil. Her Adam's apple protruded sharply, and her voice dropped to a gravelly rasp. If she skipped shaving her facial hair and leg hair every day, the hair would grow thicker and longer than her eyebrows. Chloe beat her fists against Luke's chest in despair. "This is all your fault. This pregnancy is making me so ugly. When are you going to divorce that hag?" Luke grabbed her hands, his tone firm. "Within 3 days. I'll end it with her for sure." That night, he knocked on my door, using the wedding fund as a pretext to pick a fight. "Lillian, the 18,000 wedding contribution. I really can't afford it. Can you talk to your parents? Maybe ask them to drop it? Please." Watching his pathetic act, I silently pulled out my phone and showed him our chat history from months ago. My girl deserves the best. 18,000? So what? I'd pay 188 if I had to. He visibly choked, stammering after a moment. "Well, didn't you think about me? It's not easy earning money all these years." Before he could finish, I cut in with feigned consideration. "I just didn't want to embarrass you. That's why I didn't bring it up. I'll call my parents right now." He could only shut his mouth, disgruntled. But in the days that followed, he escalated, finding fault in everything. He'd start an argument if I didn't like his Instagram story. He'd pick a fight if I didn't pour his drink at dinner. Finally, in front of everyone, he accused me of never contributing as much as he had over the years. Everyone was confused by his sudden shift in attitude, but felt obliged to awkwardly mediate. The look in Chloe's eyes grew more contemptuous and triumphant by the day. It was clear Luke was laying the groundwork for the breakup. But I never expected that at the farewell dinner on the last day of the trip, he would physically steer me towards his close friend, Cole. Not only did he make sure I sat right next to him, but when we started playing Truth or Dare, he even egged everyone on to make me sit on Cole's back while he was doing push-ups. I drank until I was hazy. When I woke up again, I turned my head to see Cole's flushed face beside me. Before I could process anything, the hotel room door was violently kicked open. A barrage of camera flashes nearly blinded me. Luke stood there with Chloe, followed by a crowd of photographers. Pointing a shaking finger at me, his face was red with feigned outrage. Lillian,
How could you do this to me?
after all these years, you cheat on me with my best buddy.
Divorce.
You're at fault. You'll walk away with 0 assets. He thrust 2 documents in front of me, forcing a pen into my hand. There was no doubt. Cole and I had been set up. Luke didn't just want to break up. He wanted to destroy my reputation, to paint me as an adulteress and ensure our 4-year relationship ended in a way that benefited him entirely. Behind me, Cole's voice was hoarse with sleep and shame. I'm sorry. I interrupted him. Don't apologize. You're not the one at fault here. I flipped through the agreement, scanning the blatantly one-sided clauses. I couldn't help but roll my eyes before coldly slapping the papers back into Luke's face. A divorce is fine, but the one leaving with 0 assets will be you. Chloe planted her hands on her hips, oozing smugness. You think you have a choice? If you don't sign, we'll release all these photos tomorrow.
Let's see how you
Handle that then. The smile on Luke's face was undeniable. Lillian, if I remember correctly, your father has a heart condition, right? Imagine if he found out, he trailed off meaningfully, the reporter's microphones hovering nearby. You have 3 days. If you don't sign, you'll see. He wrapped his arm around Chloe's waist. She shot me one last victorious glare. You should have appreciated him more. Luke is mine now. Once out of the room, Luke was ecstatic. Perfect. All of Lillian's assets will be ours. Chloe gazed at him adoringly, planting a syrupy kiss on the corner of his mouth. You're amazing, Luke. Luke's eyes burned with desire. He eagerly kissed her back. With their goals seemingly achieved, their passion ignited. Clothes began to shed as their kisses grew more feverish. Luke's hands roamed over Chloe's body, sliding downward with familiar intent. But the next second, he yelped in surprise and jerked his hand back. Why is there a bulge down there? Luke looked down. A prominent, unmistakable bulge strained against the fabric of Chloe's pants, appearing even more substantial than his own. He stumbled back as if he'd seen a ghost, his voice dripping with shock. What the? Utterly confused, Chloe followed his gaze downward. Seeing the thing shifting beneath her clothes, she nearly fainted on the spot. Holy sh! What in the world is going on? A voice as rough as sandpaper scraped out of her throat, startling even herself. And no, my voice. What happened to my voice? She raised a hand instinctively, only to see it was covered in coarse hair. A full body shudder racked her. Luke was equally horrified. He looked up at her face and let out a sharp cry.
Who are you?
You're not Chloe. By now, Chloe was completely bewildered by the changes to her own body, her voice cracking with panic. Luke, it's me. It's Chloe. You can't be Chloe. Chloe doesn't look like this. Tears of genuine terror sprang to her eyes. She rushed to the full-length mirror in the hotel hallway. One look, and she felt bile rise in her throat, her legs threatening to give way. The face staring back was unequivocally, undeniably male. Her skin was sallow and oily, framed by a thick, scruffy beard. Her once proud curves were gone, replaced by a flat, hair-covered chest. Even the lower half of her body now bore the distinct, prominent features of a man. Where were her breasts? Her smooth, fair skin? What was happening? How had she turned into this monster? A guttural, inhuman howl tore from her. I'm a man. What the hell is this? She fumbled for her ID card, thrusting it at Luke. Luke, I swear, I don't know what's happening. But it's me. It's really me. But her current appearance bore 0 resemblance to the delicate young woman in the ID photo. Luke's eyes reddened with rage. There was no way he would admit to having been intimate with the man standing before him. He reached out, yanked hard on the scruffy beard, and without hesitation, slapped Chloe across the face with a sharp crack. What did you do to the real Chloe? How did you steal her ID? I came here with her. Tell me, where is she? You freak. A man in drag. Get away from me. They descended into a chaotic, grappling brawl. From around the corner, I watched with a smile, my phone held high, recording the crystal, clear footage of these two men turning from lovers to bitter enemies. Behind me, Luke's other friends, whom I'd quietly gathered, stood gaping at the surreal scene. Jesse muttered uncertainly, Did that guy just look a lot like Chloe? Did you guys see that? Kind of, but Chloe's a girl. That was definitely a dude. A small smile touched my lips. The moment Luke had left my room, the wish protocol had notified me of the successful fulfillment.
Now.
With all the key players present, it was my cue. I stopped the recording, instantly switching my expression to one of heartbroken devastation. I rushed forward, shoving my way between them, and delivered a stinging slap across Luke's face. Luke, you are a fucking piece of work. I screamed, my voice raw. If you're into men, why the hell did you ever get with me? It was peak check-in time at the resort, and with my voice booming like that, and the kind of bomb I just dropped, it didn't take long for a crowd to gather. No wonder you've been picking fights with me for days. You were already tangled up with your close friends. Divorce. The wedding is off. You fraudulent, closet, case gay. I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly who you are. I pummeled his chest, venting all the pent-up frustration of the past weeks. Real tears, born of a strange mix of fury and liberation, welled up and spilled over, making me look utterly pitiful. The crowd murmured with disdain. He's got a girlfriend this pretty and he's chasing men?
Disgusting.
A scam artist trying to trap a straight girl. He deserves whatever's coming. Seeing me, Luke seemed to forget all about the divorce papers. He grabbed my wrists, his voice trembling. No, Lillian, believe me. I'm not gay. I don't like men. Chloe, she was a woman. I don't know how she suddenly turned into a man. I slapped him again, the sound echoing. Bullshit. Still lying. That is Chloe. I always knew something was off between you two, but you kept swearing you were just close friends, that nothing could ever happen. I was such a fool to believe you for so long. His friends, hearing this, seemed to have a collective epiphany. No wonder Chloe kept saying she and Luke were just like the guys. Turns out she really meant it. Man, we totally misjudged her. We thought she was just one of those girls who acts all tough online, but she was actually, someone who likes dressing the other way for fun. Luke was on the verge of a breakdown. He turned to Jesse, pleading. Tell them. Chloe was a girl before, right? She used to be a girl. Jesse took an almost imperceptible step back, as if avoiding something contaminated. For straight guys, there was a natural aversion to anything hinting of homosexuality. Chloe lunged forward again, wrapping her burly arms around Luke's waist.
Luke.
You have to help me. This has to be because of the pregnancy. Right. Pregnancy hormones. That's why I look like this. You have to take responsibility. In the past, such words would have melted Luke's heart. But now, with Chloe's features resembling a lumberjack's and her voice like gravel, he felt only revulsion. He kicked her squarely in the chest. Get off me, you freak. Stay away. He then dropped to his knees before me with a thud, begging. Lillian, please believe me. I don't like men. I only love you, I swear. There's some huge misunderstanding. Please don't leave me. I wrenched my hand free and, with all my strength, kicked him squarely between the legs. Luke, for years end right here. Don't you ever let me see your face again. Under the crowd's scorching gaze, I covered my face and fled. Of course, I covered my face. Otherwise, the triumphant smile spreading across it would have been impossible to hide. I booked a flight home that same night. When I dragged my suitcase to my parents' doorstep, I tried to keep a smile, but the worry in their eyes was immediate and deep. Lillian? Sweetheart, what's wrong? Did someone hurt you? Come inside, my girl. Dad will make you your favorite egg noodles. My eyes stung with sudden tears, and I threw myself into their arms. Over the steaming bowl of noodles, I left out the part about the wish protocol, but spilled everything else: how Luke was a fraudulent gay man, and how I'd caught him in bed with his close friends who was now, inexplicably, also a man. When I finished, my father slammed his hand on the table. That bastard Luke. I'm calling off the wedding right now. We're getting that divorce, no matter what. My mother's laugh was cold and sharp. Oh, he's not getting off that easy. He messes with my daughter? I'll make sure he regrets the day he was born. My parents began notifying relatives one by one that the wedding was off. The relatives had all met Luke and couldn't understand why we'd let such an eligible bachelor slip away. My parents would then pretend to dab at their eyes. Our Lillian was deceived by that scoundrel. You wouldn't believe it, but that Luke boy, he prefers men. The relatives were aghast, but upon reflection, found it somewhat plausible. The news spread like wildfire, from 10 people to 100. The story that Luke was a fraudulent homosexual was now public knowledge. Who could have guessed that the next afternoon, my mother returned home with a scratch on her face? Upon questioning, we learned she had been vividly recounting the latest gossip about Luke to the neighbors. When Luke's mother, Diane, happened to be visiting relatives nearby, hearing there was juicy gossip, Diane eagerly dragged her relative over to listen. At first, she laughed uproariously at the story. It wasn't until my mother uttered the name Luke Williams that Diane realized the scandal was about her own son. Humiliated and furious, she lunged at my mother, and the two women ended up in a tussle. Speaking of it, my mother actually sounded a bit proud. At first, I couldn't beat her, so I kept chanting, "Luke likes men, Luke likes men," and she got so mad her blood pressure shot up. Our whole family burst into laughter. We heard that from that day on, the Williams family scarcely left their house, except for groceries and taking out the trash. I submitted my resignation to the company. Back then, to be in the same city as Luke, I had taken a pay cut to join this firm. Looking back now, I just felt foolish. Opening my phone, I saw a message from Cole. Got something interesting for you. The video he sent opened to show Chloe standing outside Luke's office building. She had shaved her legs, worn a wig and a pink princess dress, her distinctly masculine face clashing grotesquely with the outfit. She was clinging desperately to Luke's leg. "Luke, you're all I have left now.
Don't leave me.
You used to say you loved me. Why have you been avoiding me? I'm carrying your child. You can't abandon us." During the rush hour, surrounded by Luke's colleagues, his face flushed with humiliation, he kicked her off. "Get away from me, you lunatic. If you cause another scene, I'll have security throw you out." Chloe, seemingly pushed to the edge, lunged again, pinning Luke to the ground. She rained blows down on him, left and right, shrieking hysterically. "You bastard. You don't love me anymore just because I'm a man? Go to hell. If you're leaving me, you won't have a peaceful life either." The video ended with the arrival of police cars. Cole texted that the scandal had caused quite a stir. Luke was fired from his company the very next day. Scumbag and his side piece. A fitting end. Cole sent another message. "Those photos. I hired a hacker. They're all gone. And I'm sorry. I was also at fault for what happened that night." I thanked him, avoiding any mention of that chaotic evening, and promptly mailed the divorce papers to Luke. Included with them was evidence of his embezzlement from the company over the years, materials Cole had helped gather. Fearing exposure and legal consequences, Luke finally signed. In the days that followed, I spent time eating and drinking with my best friend, Sophia. Life was leisurely and free. Unexpectedly, Cole was transferred back to work in this city. After a chance encounter at the mall, he always seemed to appear when I needed something. Stuck at a bus stop in the rain? He'd drive by and offer me a ride home. Submitting resumes? I happened to apply to his company, where he was the interviewer. Even going to feed stray cats, I'd run into him downstairs in my neighborhood. We gradually became closer. Getting to know him, I learned he was actually the quiet, chubby kid from our high school class. Looking at his current 6 feet 1 inch frame and lean build, it was hard to connect him to the memory of the 200-pound boy. Sophia teased, "What do you call this? A reunion of long, lost souls. You might even be his one that got away. If you two really got together, it'd probably kill Luke with rage." One day, catching another ride home with him, I was about to get out when he gently stopped me. The night was dark, but his eyes were exceptionally clear. His voice was a little husky. "Lillian, have you ever thought about starting another relationship?" So he really was interested. I suppressed a smile, pretending to be melancholic. "I'd like to, but who would I even find?" He saw right through my teasing, chuckled softly, and took my hand, his expression utterly sincere. "Lillian, I've liked you for a very long time. Since high school. I wanted to confess in college, but by then, you were already with someone. I spent 2 years losing weight, just hoping you'd notice me. After that night, I was also terrified you'd misunderstand me. That's why I've been trying to make it up to you. Let's forget all the unhappiness from the past. Let's walk hand in hand towards the future, okay?" Looking at him, I finally couldn't hold back my laughter and nodded. A handsome, off man delivering himself to my doorstep? Why would I say no? Our relationship progressed quickly. Cole was more mature and understanding, exactly what I wanted. When I introduced Cole to my parents, they pulled me aside, their brows furrowed with concern. "Lillian, you're sure about this, right? He doesn't like men, does he?" I couldn't help but laugh out loud. After spending so much time together, I was quite certain Cole didn't have any tomboy best friends lurking
Around.
One day, waiting for Cole on a street corner, a familiar figure ducked into an alleyway. Uncertain, I called out, "Luke?" Hearing me, he slowly emerged. He had changed so much that I barely recognized him at first glance. He used to be confident, vibrant, and full of youthful energy. Now, his cheeks were hollow, dark circles shadowed his eyes, stubble covered his jaw, and he was painfully thin. In just over a month, he had become a shadow of himself. Before he even spoke, his eyes welled up with tears. He reached out as if to hug me. I took several rapid steps back. He faltered, then dropped to his knees right there on the pavement. He raised a hand and slapped himself hard across the face. "Lillian, I was wrong. I was so wrong. I've always loved you. I was out of my mind back then. It's all on me. It's all my fault." I let out a scornful laugh, watching his breakdown with cold detachment. "What's the point of saying all this now?" "It's important. I have to say it. Do you remember how happy we used to be? You quit your job and moved to my city for me, learned to cook to ease my stress. When I had no clients at work, you used your connections to help me. And me, I stayed up late working with you, made you lunchboxes every day to bring to your office. We explored new restaurants every week, kept that couple's blog. And Buddy, I dreamed about him the other day. He said he knows Mom and Dad split up, and he's so sad." "Enough." I cut him off sharply, my voice cracking. "How dare you mention Buddy? If you hadn't brought Chloe home, if she hadn't opened the balcony door without asking, how could Buddy have fallen to his death? My biggest regret is not throwing you off that balcony too." Tears streamed down my face. The memory of my beloved pet brought a fresh wave of agonizing pain. Luke's face drained of all color. He clearly never imagined I already knew the truth about what happened that day. He began kowtowing desperately on the pavement. "Lillian, forgive me. Please, give me a chance to make things right." A steady, firm voice sounded from behind me. "No." Cole pulled me into a strong, possessive embrace, his thumb gently wiping away my tears. "Don't cry." He looked down at Luke, who was still on his knees, his tone leaving no room for argument. "She's with me now." A muscle twitched violently in Luke's jaw. He staggered to his feet, pointing a shaking finger at Cole. You were my friend. How could you steal your close friend's girl?" A mocking smile touched Cole's lips. "You also called Chloe your close friend. Didn't stop you from ending up in bed with her. Don't insult the word. Friend. The mention of Chloe's name seemed to trigger all the humiliation and isolation Luke had suffered recently. With a raw cry, he lunged at Cole, fist raised. He never landed a hit. Cole moved with fluid efficiency, catching Luke's arm and using his momentum to flip him over his shoulder. Luke crashed onto the pavement with a heavy thud, groaning in pain. His eyes instinctively sought mine, but found only icy detachment. You didn't want to cherish her when you had her. Regretting it after you've lost her is too late. Cole tightened his arm around me, delivering the final blow. And don't forget, I have you to thank for introducing us that night. You played your part perfectly. It was all Chloe's idea, Luke blurted out, scrambling to explain. Lillian, I was forced. There it was again. After all these years, he still hadn't learned to take responsibility for his own actions. We didn't spare him another glance. Cole guided me to his car, and we drove away, leaving Luke sprawled in the dust of his own making. After that, Luke vanished from our lives for good. Rumors trickled in. Chloe, desperate to reverse her transformation, sought sex reassignment surgery in Thailand but couldn't afford the exorbitant fees. Luke naturally refused, but Chloe held a grudge and secretly got her hands on his phone, racking up every single online loan she could find. By the time the debt collectors came pounding on his door, Chloe was long gone, having fled overseas with the money. To repay the crushing debt, Luke made a desperate choice. He sold one of his kidneys in a back alley operation. The unsterilized equipment led to a severe infection, and he contracted HIV. He passed away 3 months later. As for Chloe, the last trace of her appeared on a missing persons forum. Her attempt at surgery had failed, and she'd allegedly been trafficked to the lawless region of northern Karath, where she became known in the grim underworld of the sex trade. Cole and I opted for a traveling wedding, exchanging vows amidst the stunning landscapes of our homeland. Finally, we settled in Willow Creek, where we opened a small, charming countryside inn. Our life that followed was just like the dawn we had witnessed together on the beach that long night, filled with a deep, abiding warmth and limitless hope.